Hey everybody. So today we're gonna clean and cut up some banana leaves. I use these to wrap up my pasteles. I mainly use them for the flavor. I like the flavor that it leaves. It leaves that earthy flavor to not dirt earthy, but it leaves a nice different kind of flavor to the pasteles. It enhances the flavors that are already in the pasteles. It's a nice little addition to it. So I'm going to show you today how to clean them, dry them up. Just make sure your sink is, clean, disinfected, as well as your countertop areas, and have a clean towel nearby. And let's start. These come frozen, and you should really keep them frozen up until when you're ready to use them and take them out. These are really, really big. As you can see, these things will go on for, and they smell so good. They really do smell good. You can see here, they're big. And you get quite a few large sheets. This one has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Be careful, don't rip them like I did. 7, 8, 9. I cut them up into smaller squares. I don't use them to wrap the whole pasteles. I just use them enough of it to wrap up, some of the pasteles in the middle. That way it just lets out a nice flavor. It also helps the pasteles to come out the paper easier as well. So I'm gonna start by cutting these guys up, as opposed to sticking the whole giant leaves in the sink to soak, which is what I used to do. But I find it's better if I just cut them up first into the squares, and then soak them and wash them off and dry them. Here's the first sheet. This is the front of the leaf. That is the front of the leaf. This is about 3 inches long. 3 feet long. It's about 3 feet long. There's the back of it. What I'm going to start doing is, I'm going to start cutting here. It all depends on what size you like them, you want to have them. You need them long enough to wrap around the pasteles though. Okay. Here you got one piece. That's the first piece. So I like to cut along the lines and then turn it around. So you want to leave them a pretty nice size. I just wanted to give you guys better light and better angle of this. When you're starting to cut them, before you cut them into a square, cut straight up the middle. Follow the lines. See how the lines are going up and down? Cut straight up the line. And then when you're ready to cut it into a square, turn it over. Now the lines are going this way. So now we're going to cut our squares. There you have it. You'll find some that are already shaped like this, a little funny shaped, but that's okay. We use everything. And if you want to trim it, you can, but I don't bother because it's all usable. See? So when they're long like this, the best way to cut them, first time to cut them when they're very long, is to cut them with the lines going straight up and down. Careful when you handle these because they rip real easy and you don't want to end up with little tiny pieces like this. Okay. Okay, I forgot to mention that when you first open up the pack and you unfold the leaves, it's best to make sure you have everything, all the leaves fully open, so you can see which is the leaf that ends up on this top when you open it. Because if you try to start pulling leaves out from like in between or whatever, they're all gonna start to rip. So best to see where they're all laying, and that way when after you unfold it, first one laying on top is the one you should start with, and then so on and so forth. You won't end up with a bunch of ripped leaves. So I'm just about done here, and I'm gonna just fill up my sink with water and let these soak for a couple of minutes, just to make sure all the dirt is loose, like if any dirt that might be on them, just, you know, loosen it. Then I'll just rinse them and I'll dry them. And then once you're done with doing this, you could use them right away. Or you could lay them on a clean paper towel. When you're done, you know, placing them on top of the paper towel, put another paper towel on top. Put them in a freezer bag and just, you know, place them in the refrigerator. As long as you're going to use them that day. Just put them in the fridge until you're ready to use them. As you can see, I am just about done. This is a little time consuming, guys. Especially if you're using more than one pack of banana leaves. So yeah, this can take some time. So between the banana leaves and making the pasteles, you know, if you're doing it by yourself, yeah, it could be very tiresome and you know, very labor intense, especially when you're doing it by yourself. But the end results are worth it. So here I'm done, and I'm just gonna fill up the sink with some cool water and put the leaves in, and then get out a clean towel and just dry them. Okay, so I have the sink filled, and it's warm, lukewarm water, and I'm just gonna put these in just to make sure that if there's anything, dirt or anything left over on them, that we just get it all off. Just push them under. Okay, just make sure, like, you know, they're not stuck together the whole time, because you want to make sure the water gets in between all the leaves to, you know, you don't want to get them stuck. You see how this one ripped? But we'll still use it. Just put it together and just use that. So just make sure like they're not stuck together. Be careful when you're doing this because they can rip easily. So just try to be gentle with them. Okay. And then just basically just leave them in for about a minute, 2 minutes. And then I'm gonna rinse them with some cold water, and I'm gonna start drying them. Okay, so here I've turned on the cold water. Turning on the cold water, and I'm letting the warm water, letting it go down. And I'm gonna rinse these off in the cold water. I'm gonna stay in the cold water until they're all taken out and dried. Okay. Remember what I said? Just gently make sure they're separated, because you want to make sure they all get rinsed. So here I have my clean towels. These are the towels I use anytime I make pasteles, especially the yuca. Yeah, I'm just gonna rinse them off, okay, and leave them in the cold water. And here's how I do it. Okay. Gently dry them, pat them dry. You can wipe them, but be careful wiping them. Wipe them with the lines going the long way. Place the dry one on a paper towel. Remember, the lines are going the long way. You don't want to go this way against the lines because it's a bigger chance of it ripping. So, just shake off some of the water. And they're sitting in the sink in the water, as you guys can see. And drying them. Alright, remember, move the towel down the long way of the lines, not against them. Go with the lines on the leaf, so that way you don't risk the chance of ripping the leaves or tearing them. Just be careful when you do it, because these are delicate. Okay. We have a nice dry leaf. Now we're going to continue drying the rest of them, and I'll be back and I'll let you see how I store them. Okay, so done doing that. Let me show you guys something. You can see this. And that's not even from drying all of them. So, and it's best to lay your leaves out and let them air dry a little before you actually start stacking them up to store them in your bag. So, okay, so the ones that are on top are still a little damp, so I'm just going to pat them dry. Okay, so here's my paper towel. I'm just gonna start stacking them. You need to dry them. Dry them. Get an extra piece of paper towel, because you don't want to store these while they're still like wet in between, because the moisture can build up into mold. And you don't want that. So just make sure they're dry. I told you guys this is pretty time consuming. I got a Charlie horse in my leg from cleaning them, but somebody's got to do it, right? It's got to be done. Okay? Just dry them. If you have somewhere where you can actually open up, the pack of leaves and clean them whole, and then lay them out somewhere to dry, that'd be awesome if you have some place like that. For me, I have very little space, so I have to do it this way. It would be awesome if I could just rinse all the leaves whole, put them out to dry, and then just cut them. See, just be careful. See how I ripped that? But we want to make sure these leaves are dry, because we don't want anything growing on them that's going to make anyone sick. See? I mean, even though I dried it with a towel. If I didn't dry it with the towel, it wouldn't be so easy to just dry them off like what I'm doing with this paper towel. So the kitchen towel is a really much needed tool to dry them. And I'm just gonna finish just getting rid of some of this extra moisture. Okay, so here we have our leaves nice and dry. And what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna take them I'm gonna put them on this dry paper towel and fold this paper towel over. Get my freezer bag. Could put these back in the freezer for later use. It's always good to have these things ready when you're ready to start. You know, this is one last step you have to do when you are actually ready to start prepping to make pasteles. So, I'll squeeze the air out of it. Yeah, squeeze some more of that air out. Okay. So now you can either put this in the refrigerator until you're ready to start wrapping your pasteles, or you can put it in the freezer for later use. So I hope this video was of some use to you guys today, and I hope you enjoyed it. If you like it, hit that like button. Please subscribe, share, leave a message, and have a great weekend. Bye bye. I love you guys. I appreciate you.